Good morning. Myself Suresh Kumar, Assistant Professor in Nalanda Samarthi Group of Institutions. Today I'm going to explain about surveying and geomatics, and topic is fundamental principles of surveying. This is lecture 3. Here the fundamental principles of surveying are two basic principles are there in surveying. The two basic principles are, first one is always work from whole to part. See, this work from whole to part have the students have more confusion when you are doing a survey. What is work? What is the principle of surveying for conducting from whole to part? What is this whole to part? The students have more confusion. Today I will explain you clearly what is whole to part and what happens if you are doing that whole to part surveying. And why not part to whole? I will explain you this, what is whole to part and part to whole. If you observe here, if you want to do the surveying by using the principle whole to part, that is, if I am taking this, the station A, I am considering here at the boundaries, I am considering the stations here B, the station B, and here my another station C, and one more station D, and last station is, I am considering 5 stations here. Okay, I want to take these, I want to join these station points. I want to join all the station points. Okay, if you are doing work from whole to part, this is nothing but whole. Whatever the survey you are doing, that is whole. This is total, you consider as whole, from whole to parts. That parts are nothing but this pole, pond, road, house, like that. Whatever the parts are there, that is considered as parts. So if you want to do according to the principle whole to part, first we need to fix the boundaries at the ends. After that, we need to take the distances from these boundaries to this particular part. See, I want to measure from station B to station the part as pond. I will measure, I am considering it as 3 meters. Now I am measuring the distance from here to, from station D to house as 6 meters. I will take the distance from station C to road as 5 meters. And again will measure the distance from station A to station B as 20 meters. Like that, I will measure all the stations from A, B, C, D and E. So after measuring, whenever what happens means, when you are doing with whole to part, this whole to part will have the accumulation of errors is less when you are doing the survey by using the principle whole to part. See, if I measure the distances, if I done any mistake while taking the measurements from any station, what happens means you accumulate the error only in this particular area. If I have taken a wrong measurement from station A to this pole, only whatever the error you are getting in this will get only in this particular area, not all the area. If I do the surveying from part to whole, this part to whole means we need to measure the distances from road to pond, pond to station, again station to road, and again road to house, and house to station D, and station D to station C. If you measure like this, if you accumulate, if you have taken a wrong measurements at any point of parts, any part, either it may be if you are measuring from pond to road, if you get a wrong measurement, your total area will be affected. And if you take a measurement, wrong measurement from road to house or house to station D, if you are taken any wrong measurement, what happens means your total area will get affected, and whatever the area you want to calculate it, that area will get wrong. But when you are considering the whole to part, what happens means if you have done a mistake, only that particular area will be affected. If you can cross check after that, if you find that whatever the measurement you are taken in that particular station to part, then it can be rectified later and your total area will be rectified. Okay, this is regarding from part to whole. See, now there is one more principle, that is there is one more principle, that is when you are measuring with reference to line AB, how can you locate another points? The main surveying lines are measured very accurately with the precise surveying instruments. The remaining sides of triangle are measured. The purpose of this method working is to control accumulation of errors. During measurement, if there is any error, they will not be affected whole work. But if the presence of work is followed, then the minor errors in measurement will be magnified. See, to locate a new station by at least 2 measurements from a fixed reference. See, here with reference to a line, how can you locate another points? How many ways are there to locate another point? According to the second principle, the points are located by linear or angular measurement or by both in surveying. If 2 control points are established first, then a new station can be located by linear measurements. Let A and B are 2 control points. The new point C can be established by taking 2 triangle measurements at A and B and angle CAB and ABC. Like that, if you see this, if you observe this diagram here, how you are locating these diagrams? From with reference to AB, here it is located C. With reference to AB line, with perpendicular, they have drawn one more station, that is C. With reference to AB line, have located with the angle theta 1 station C. With reference to angles on end of the both AB station, they have located point C. There is one end is taken as angle, the station B taken angle theta, and another station they have extended the end of that particular station. They located the stations. These are the how you are locating your point here. If you see here also, I can locate one. These are the 2 basic principles of surveying will use when you are doing any survey. Why these principles are fixed for doing survey? Why only these whole to part and these with reference to line? How can you locate one more point, another station? Why it has been the principles of surveying means, when the main idea of us to minimize the errors, how can you measure the distance? That is our criteria. How accurate you are measuring that particular distance. To minimize that errors, If you are following these two principles, you can you can minimize the errors of minimize the errors in the field when you are doing the survey. These are the principles. How can you locate these points with reference to line we have seen? See, here we can locate with the 90 degrees, we can locate this point. Now, the classification of surveying based on instrument. See, we have seen the previous class I have explained about the classification based on area. Here, the classification based on instruments. See, we conduct the surveying by using so many instruments. So, if you are using that instrument and doing that survey, that will be classified based on that particular instrument. So, if I come first, I will explain you the chain survey. In this chain survey is the simplest type of surveying in which only the linear measurements are made with a chain or tape, or angular measurements are not taken. So when you are doing this chain survey, there will be different types of chains are there. That chains, mainly when you are doing in a laboratory, surveying lab is there. In that surveying lab, we have metric chains. The metric chains are available 20 meters and 30 meters. By using that metric chains, we'll do this survey. See, if you observe this picture, they have taken, this is the field book. Whatever the measurements we have taken in a field, that will be entered into the field notes. That field notes will consist of two straight lines, and having a space between the two straight lines, and it will be whatever the measurements. If you are taking the measurements along that field, we'll take that as 10 meters, 20 meters, 30. This is the interval. They have taken the interval of 10 meters. According to that interval, at that what particular interval, what the field data is available. What if you see this picture, that will indicates there is a proposed house. There is a house, and there will be a proposed beam. Like that, whatever the field data is available, they have marked that points. According to that points, they have measured the distances. That is the chain survey. Now, compass survey. In compass survey, the angles are measured with the help of magnetic compass. See, in chain survey, we only take the linear measurements. In compass survey, we'll take angular measurements. That is bearings. We'll call it as not an angle, we'll call it as bearing. Then what is bearing? The bearing is nothing but with reference to a magnetic field. When you are measuring an angle, that is called as bearing. There will be two types of compass, prismatic compass and surveying compass. By using these two compass, we'll conduct the survey and we'll find the areas. This is the picture which shows the both prismatic and surveyor compass. So I will explain you in the second unit totally whatever the total compass, how it will be the geometrical view, and what parts are available, and how it is useful for us, how to calculate your bearings, angles, and everything, how to take that measurements in that particular instrument. See, this is the picture showing that how the data is collected by using compass, and these are the bearings and the distances which shows the table, this plane table. But if you are conducting survey by using plane table, then it is called as a plane table surveying. In this plane table is a graphical method of surveying in which the field works are plotted, both are done simultaneously. What happens is when you are doing survey, there will be a tripod and there is a drawing table, and that drawing table will be placed on the top of your tripod. On the tripod will take a drawing sheet, and whatever the measurements we are taking in a field, that will be taken and drawn in that field only. Both the work, the information, whatever the data you are collecting, and it will be plotted at the same place, both field data and plotting will be done simultaneously. Theodolite. Theodolite is an instrument where we can measure both horizontal and vertical angles, and we can, by using this instrument, we can measure height of a building and height of a tower by using this theodolite. See, if you see this picture, this is a plane table and these are the parts of your plane table, that is spirit bulb, bubble and throw compass and alidade are the instruments which will showing on the top of your plane table. Oh, these are the picture. The students are collecting data in field by using plane table survey. It's here beside the picture showing that is plumb bob, that is centering of that particular instrument. The centering is more important when you are conducting a survey. This is the information collected, how the plotted on a paper. This is the instrument theodolite. There is a telescope. I will explain you about this theodolite instrument, how you what type of will collect and how to measure and how to read that angles and everything in your unit 3. Tachometric survey, the only difference is whatever the diaphragm inside that theodolite having a cross marks top and bottom, then it is called tachometric survey. Leveling survey, we'll use auto level and dumpy level instruments for collecting the information in a field. There is a leveling staff. By this, using this leveling staff and we using auto level and dumpy level, we'll collect the information in a field and we'll plot according to that. This is the diaphragm. What I told you, this is the diaphragm. The bottom and top there is a cross lines that will indicates as a tachometric surveying. Even if you see the theodolite, when you are doing theodolite survey, there is no these cross lines at the top and bottom. Leveling survey will this is a leveling staff. Here it indicates that leveling staff. This is a dumpy level or auto level. They are correcting this information. The instrument is placed in between the two stations and they are collecting the information. If you are taking the reading in front of your, that is called foresight. If you are taking your back of your that, then it is called as backside. So like that, there are so many classifications. For exam point of view, we need to remember 5 to 6 are more than enough. But for information, for knowledge, we need to know every classifications based on your instruments. Photogrammetric surveying. The photogeometry is a science of taking measurements with the help of photographs taken by aerial camera from the aircraft. See, whenever the disaster occurs, we can't go there and we can't collect the information on that particular field. So this aerial survey will help us to conduct, we can imagine the damage, the loss of the property happened by using these aerial cameras, and we take the photographs. According to that photographs, we'll estimate the cost of damage to the properties. EDM survey, we'll conduct this EDM survey also, that is similar to your total station. Whatever the instruments so far we are using, that will be the no use of that instruments if the only that single instrument EDM will help us to take all the measurements. Either it may be linear measurements, angular measurements, or missing measurements, or anything else. This is an aerial photograph, how you collected when the disaster occurs. This is also aerial photographs or the information we are collecting when the disaster occurs to estimate the cost of loss. This is an EDM instrument which is similar to your total station. This is called prism. This is a prism where we need to sight with the help of this EDM. This is based on methods. I will explain you in the next class the based on methods how it is classified. Thank you.